Class 3, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright.
I want to work late day today. All right, so I am here after school. Laptop cards will be here. Have you filled out your work log?
Yes.
As far as I do now? I see no work logs out. Your work log is something that you need to turn in on Wednesday, right? As a habit of work 3 grade. Remember, part of this project, it's a big project, right?
Yeah.
Somebody told me that they had like 10 or 12 pages of stuff typed. You know, some people's are longer, right? This is part of this about project management. You had 2 weeks on the calendar to work with this, right? That's 14 days. It's a lot of time. And I know that everybody's schedule is a little bit different, and everybody kind of, you know, some people did lots in a few days, some people did a little bit every day, however that works. It's due Wednesday, right? It's actually due tomorrow at midnight. All right? So part of my job today is to walk around and check in with each one of you and see where you're at with the project. Basically, how many entries do you have? Right, and that's what the work log was all about, was that you're supposed to be tracking every time you make progress towards your ultimate goal of total number of entries. All right, so my job today, in addition to doing that, will also be to conference with people. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to get rid of this thing that says Mr. Wright rules, right? Because that's a lot. You know, and what I want you to do is, if you really need help, like right out of the gate, I want you to sign up here. All right, knowing that I'll be talking with all of you at some point, but if you're feeling like I need help right away, let's bring that. So who is that? It's one I talked to, Gerald. It was London, I think. Who else? Yeah. Alright. Alright. How you doing? You good on?
I just need the citation thing.
Okay, what's up?
Easy move that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Alright, cool. Great. So who's got their annotated bibliography up already? It's on the computer right now. Alright? That you won't mind me putting it up on the screen.
Oh, I'll do one of them. I'll do it again.
All right, let's get somebody different. Let's get Sean.
Actually, no, I have the MLA one. I'll have the right one.
Oh, okay. So we should talk about that after. All right, in the interest of time, let's use yours. You guys got a 50-minute class today. Is it up?
Yeah.
All right.
It's very big. It's like 12 pages.
12 pages? Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, the goal of doing research, right, is to get a lot of information so that when you go to actually write your paper, you have plenty of stuff to choose from. What is this, in like a page view or something?
Yeah, you should see the little...
Can I just click on one of these?
Yeah, no, you see the little zoom button, the plus and minus down in the bottom right corner?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It'll just go to the page that clicks on.
Alright, great. So,
It's not in alphabetical order yet.
okay, so there's a heading here. The assignment is not the name of the expedition, though. It's the name of the assignment.
Annotated bibliography.
Yeah, so you can just put colon, annotated bibliography. That would be good. And you know, there should be a class in there too, right? Chemistry.
Yeah.
Right. So then scrolling down. Did we look at this one already? Is this the one that was at last time?
Yeah, that's what we
Is
started.
that the one with the football field?
Yes.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the next one. So, you know, what is Alright, so, some things that, you know, I'm going to be looking at, right? I'm going to be looking to see that it's indented properly, right? So, this is hanging. If you need help with this, get help today, okay? If the first line is not indented, everything else is. You can have your facts in a bulletin. So this article, okay, so that's 50 words, right? So that's that's the least amount of summarizing that you should do. He did it exactly 50 words. I suppose that was coincidentally. This article is a timeline giving a history of nuclear power. And a timeline is not really, how do you summarize that, right? For example, and then he gives a few things. So that's an excellent way to summarize a timeline, right? But then he's really going after these specific facts, because I would imagine those are the facts that he might be able to use when he's writing his paper in English.
We need 3 to 5 facts, right?
Yeah, I think that 3 to 5 is
Where
pretty
it
good.
says beta decay was created, I'm gonna say discovered.
Okay, great. Well, you can fix that after as a minor detail. I think that this is in his own words. Remember, if you're cutting and pasting, you're plagiarizing, so you want to make sure you avoid that issue. Now, he said that he didn't have these alphabetized. He also doesn't have them categorized.
Yeah.
So you remember that there's like either 3 or 4 categories you're using, like economics or geopolitics. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I want the list. I want all of your sources for geopolitics, then I want, or whatever you use, and I want them alphabetized within the list. You don't have to alphabetize by category, I don't care about that, but I want to see that you have the correct number in each category. Alright, whether you're doing 3 categories or 4 categories. So that was what I planned to discuss at the outset. What have you learned about either nuclear power or nuclear weapons since you started this? Sean?
That a lot of them just have, or a lot of countries have them just for a scare. Like, North Korea is one of the main scarce ones because they're out of control. They broke one of the treaties for nuclear technology or nuclear weapons. They launched one in, I think it was China, and it started a 4.0 earthquake. It was just a test of they said a small nuclear warhead, but there's no way to it was a small atom bomb is what they called it, but they were placed on a nuclear warhead, or nuclear warhead.
Nice. Right, me? Yeah.
That water, like ordinary water, is a really huge component to nuclear power plants for cooling and stuff.
And so when you see those cooling towers and all that stuff coming out, it's water. Okay? Yeah.
What about fission and fusion?
Ah.
Actually, just yesterday, fission is the combination of light elements to create elements, and fission isn't used. That's fusion. Fusion is the combination of light elements, and it hasn't been used for energy. It's just used to create
thermonuclear.
So that's why there's controversy over that one. But nuclear fission is the splitting of an atom, and the splitting of the atom generates heat. So people prefer fission because it generates electricity.
That's great. One of our learning targets, daily learning targets for next week is I can explain the differences between fission and fusion. So you've got a nice head start on that. You guys have a short class today, so I want to, and I need to do a bunch of stuff. So I know we're going to be checking in. I'm gonna stop like the whole class discussion. Do you have any questions right now for that everyone should hear?
So for everything in alphabetical order, it's going to go by your citation, right?
Yeah. So we had this paper here. We had this paper here, and so like if you were doing nuclear weapons and you did human health as one of your things, so you would just write human health, and then you would list all of your entries for human health alphabetically.
Okay.
Make sense?
So I have them like this.
All right. So we can check in after if you want more. If you want to get more specific. Any other questions that would help everybody? All right. So how are we doing on time? When did class start? When did I ring the bells? How are we doing on time, Miss Taliana? 10
Doing
minutes.
good.
10 minutes. You can stop. But I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to meet with Juan, then Gerald, then London, then Ed, then Sean, and then I'm going to, once the iPad's not filming me anymore, because we're going to deconstruct this at UMass on Wednesday. We're going to talk about like what kind of a teacher I am and what do I do as a teacher. Pardon? Oh no, we go to UMass after school every Wednesday.
I tell them what kind of teacher you are.
Sure, Gerald. Why don't you? Well, we got you on film.
Oh, Mr. Wright is the best teacher a human being could ask for.
Oh my God. All right, so let's get to work. Remember, you're working on self-discipline, trying to be focused, trying to get her done.
Get her done.
Do